People, deluded, I'm back again. Arsenal 4, Norwich 0. You lot say I don't smile, you know. Every now and again you see a little smile. And although I know there's nothing that can be salvaged from this season in terms of Champions League, you know, we can hope for an FA Cup. And right now we've moved above Spurs at least till Friday. Hopefully St. Totteridge Day is back. In relation to this game, it was a decent game from Arsenal. 4-0, clean sheet, simple put, need to put winning runs together. For the sake of it, really, this season. We've got nothing else to do. It's business end of the season. We need to carry on like that. With that being said, we might as well review the player ratings. Now, I think it was a decent game from us. What I like is that we started fast. I like it. Now, obviously, you could say Norwich are rock bottom. You know, they're playing quite poorly. They can't buy a win at the moment. A lot of that's expected, which is true. But you can only play what's in front of you. First 5 minutes in particular, I liked, man. You know, Bellerin final third weren't quite good enough, people. But just from him making that run and Ceballos continuously playing it to him presented Norwich problems. Do I really need to tell you a lot about the usual suspects down the left-hand side? Aubameyang was quality. Tierney the same. Xhaka was good in the engine room like his midfield partner. Near enough perfect performance today. If I had to press it, I'd say, you know what, against Sheffield and Southampton before this, second half, you know, we've kind of allowed teams back in it or to have more joy or put up more of a fight. I think there was elements of that against Norwich today, so I think that's something for Arteta and the players to potentially look at. Because if you don't know what I mean by that, just go and watch Norwich in the first half versus the second half and the rest of them. But, you know, what can I say? You might as well review the player ratings. I'll give Martinez a 7. Didn't have much to do in reality, but he had 2 big saves to make either half. I think one was from that guy who come off the bench, the Irish lad, Adoa, I can't say his name, but him. Definitely, was it Ben Godfrey in the first half? You know, maybe I'm exaggerating a bit, but I like to see goalkeepers concentrated in things, and you know, it's a clean sheet. I think he deserves it because he's been doing quite well since Leno hasn't been in the side, and better than I thought. And you know, obviously if Leno got fit tomorrow, or when Leno gets fit, Leno is still the #1 for me and potentially Arteta, but you know, it's probably closer. It's like when he was before this and Martinez was allowed to showcase his thing, I would have said Leno here, Martinez there. I still think Leno is quite a bit better than him, but you get it. It's not mad of a drop off, and it's always a bit dodgy with goalkeepers. But Martinez is doing what he can do to show Arteta that potentially if Leno's not doing what he's doing, you can play me or I can defeat Leno for his spot. So Martinez gets his 7. Mustafi, obviously, I don't know if he's injured, but I think if I remember rightly, he came off for Rob Holding at half time. I'll give Holding a 6. I think he was okay. I'll give Mustafi a 7. I think Mustafi's ball playing was quite good, especially when it's games like that in the first half, because he only played the first half. So based on the first half, he gets a 7. You know, we had the lion's share of the ball, and I was seeing a confident Mustafi. Even a couple of passes didn't quite come off, but I like to see the confidence in the man to play them. And he didn't have much to do, but I think he dealt with what he needed to do. So I think him, in addition to David Luiz, can get 7s. David Luiz, the highlight of that game, that pass in the build-up to, was it Aubameyang or Xhaka's goal? I can't even remember, but I know you lot know what I'm on about. So there's 7s for the defensive partnership. Kolasinac, I'll give him a 7 as well. I think he did okay in that centre-half role. I don't know if Arteta would ever play him in the centre-half in a back 4, but that might be something. You know, Kolasinac, you might get a chance at another Arsenal career as a defender. I'm just going based on what I'm seeing. Obviously, it's different playing in a man in a 3-5-2, 3-4-3 than playing him in a flat midfield partnership in the heart of the defence. But I think he deserves a 7. I give Tierney an 8, maybe even a 9. I think Tierney was very good today, as he has been since he's getting over these injuries. You know, short and sharp. You know what Tierney's bringing to the table, and he's fast becoming one of my favourite players. He was someone I was really keen to see get going this season because, you know, being at Celtic, the mentality. What I like about Tierney, he's one of them man there. You know, when I miss the days where you could just look at the Arsenal 11, people. I don't know about you lot, but I miss the days where you could look at the Arsenal 11 and you knew a Lauren, or I know you don't play on the same side, but a Lauren or a Sagnar or a players like that. You get what I'm saying? They weren't. Tierney's good on the ball. I'm not saying these players weren't either, but just does his job. Like you just know 10 games if he's there, there's not gonna be a massive drop off in performance. I've got a lot of time for Tierney, man, so I'll give him an 8. Do you know what? I'll give him a 9, you know. I'll give him a 9 because I feel Tierney was good. I feel Xhaka and Ceballos were good as well. I'll give Xhaka a 9. 8 plus a bonus point takes it to a 9 because I feel like Ceballos, he played well. Obviously, he scored. I feel Xhaka had another good game. And since he's come back from that little injury he picked up against City, I actually think he's been playing well. He'll never be everybody's, myself included, cup of tea, but he's definitely a better player than his haters give him credit for. And, you know, call a spade, only judging a man on what I can see right now. He has played well today, people. So I think he deserves an 8 plus a bonus point, which takes it to a 9. Ceballos, you know, I'm quite harsh on Ceballos. I'm gonna give him an 8. Maybe even some of you would say 9. Admittedly, it's written down as a 9, but I'm gonna say 8. I think, you know, I always get Ceballos was doing pointless stuff as having all the technical ability in the world. He's not doing the right things. I feel from start to finish he was at it today. You know, I really like what I saw from Ceballos. So being fair to him, I'll give him an 8. Nelson, I give Nelson a 5. I don't think he was poor, but I don't see what he offered today. I feel the decision making isn't quite there. He was energetic, he was trying a thing, but I don't feel he made the most of his chance. Obviously, he's working his way back from injury, and, you know, psychologically, he might be thinking that this is my first and only chance, which isn't the case under Arteta, but he knows that he's got Pepe on the bench. You know, you've seen what Saka and Martinelli before his injury was doing. Maybe he's thinking too much of the ramifications between playing well in an individual game and good. But I think he was quite poor, but I think it's a 5 sort of thing. Bellerin, I give him a 5 as well. You know, in fact, Bellerin a 5. Just about, I like I said in this video and in my actual review of the game, I feel the one thing he did which he doesn't do enough, maybe it's the manager's comments, maybe it's him Maitland-Niles, maybe it's him talking up Cedric Suarez, Arteta before, but he's actually making that run, because lo and behold, even if you don't get the ball, you've taken a Norwich man back with you, like you saw with Cantwell, or sometimes he was getting and stuff like that, and Ceballos was picking it off each and every time. The problem is there was numerous occasions today where, you know, Bellerin, sort your touch out, get that pass, put that decent cross in. Did you get even that cross for Lacazette's half effort? Was it even a good cross, or was it just poor defending which made it fall to Lacazette? I'm not trying to critique Bellerin and say he, you know, and witch hunt and things, but I feel, you know, modern day fullback, and especially if there's 3 of you right now just on this season fighting for one spot, you need to put up more of a fight for your place. So I'd give him a 5. Aubameyang gets a 10. You know, he got a brace, had an assist. You know, come on, he can't not get a 10 for that. That's near enough perfect, and, you know, short and sharp. We know he's a quality player. We hope he stays, and, you know, it's almost a mini crisis of Aubameyang, because he was on a bit of a goal drought, but he's back. He saved my FPL team as well, so I can't really complain about Aubameyang. Moving away from that, Lacazette, like Bellerin, fighting between I think he can just about get a 5. He should score. He's not in best of form, but I don't think he was appalling today. He put himself about, you know. Decision making at times weren't quite the best. Definitely the one where he tried to, I don't even know what he tried to do, knock it back to Joe Willock. I assume that's what he tried to do. I think a 5, man. I don't think anybody was a 4 thing today. I think if he was to ask me the poorest players on the field, it would be between Lacazette and Bellerin. But I don't think anybody was a 4 and mad rubbish today and invisible and things like that. So I'll go with that. You know, Cedric Suarez, reality is he wasn't on the field long enough to give a rating, but I'll give him a 10 out of 10 just because the minute he's played, we waited so long and he scored his debut goal. There was a bit of a deflection, but realistically, if for banter people, I'll give him a 10. Realistically, he weren't on the field long enough for a rating. Joe Willock, I think he put himself about, he gets a 5, but beyond putting yourself about, I'm not really seeing what Joe's bringing to the table. I think he's a bit too greedy in the final third, and it is kind of starting to frustrate me now, because I know he's a young player, but he's played enough to know and get your head up. I still believe in Joe, but I've got to call it how I see it, people. Pepe and Eddie and Nketiah didn't come on the field long enough, but, you know, Eddie was putting in some good touches, and he looked like he was really hungry to score. Pepe had his little free kick, which was terrible, but they weren't on the field long enough to do anything, man. But, you know, I don't think anybody was poor today. I think if you was to ask me my best performers on the field today, I think first and foremost Aubameyang. I think second place for me would probably be Tierney. It would probably be, it would be Aubameyang. It would probably be Ceballos, you know, and then Tierney. Well, Ceballos / Xhaka. No, Ceballos, then Tierney, then Xhaka, but Xhaka scored. You get it? 'Cause I think we're having good problems. We're having good problems. Football's a subjective game, you know. If you think certain players played better or worse, I can't take that from you. You know, we all see things differently. On that note, I'd love to see you lot's opinions on who played well, who played bad, your ratings and the rest of it. Love to hear your opinions on the game in general. But as for this, people, Deluded. I'm out. Thank you for always watching and rocking.